By the book, that roughing the passer flag was legal, but by the eye test, a lot of people saw a perfectly clean sack. With 10 seconds left in the first half, Dallas Turner dropped Lamar Jackson for what looked like a textbook tackle, yet officials flagged Turner for landing with his weight on the QB and enforced half the distance. The penalty turned a near 53-yard attempt into a chip shot 30-yarder and changed the halftime scoreboard to 10-9. Baltimore would go on to win 27-19. Awful announcing. The dispute is really about the finish of a play, not the initial contact. The rule forbids defenders from unnecessarily landing on a passer with full body weight, a measurable standard the league uses to protect quarterbacks, but it's brutally hard for defenders to control exactly how they fall in the heat of the rush. That tension is why former pass rusher Michael Strahan unloaded on the call on Fox's pregame studio. At what point are we going to realize quarterbacks play football too? The complaint is practical, not theoretical. Players and coaches fear that perfectly legal high-effort tackles are increasingly being reclassified as penalties. Awful announcing. What happens next is predictable. Debate and no immediate rule fix. The play will get parsed by officials and the league office, and fans will point to inconsistency whenever the same rule helps one team one week and hurts another the next. The sane fix is clearer visual thresholds and faster explanations from the league when a game-altering flag gets thrown. Until then, these moments will keep producing headlines and heated takes. Baltimore beatdown. Baltimore beatdown. It was supposed to be a night when Aaron Rodgers' arrival in Pittsburgh showed the path out of mediocrity. Instead, Sunday in Los Angeles was the kind of game that forces you to reconsider timelines. Rodgers finished 16 of 31 for 161 yards, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, and a rough passer rating, and the Chargers handed the Steelers a 25-10 loss that exposed protection failures and a stalled offense. Pittsburgh Steelers. The game's tone was set early. Rodgers was trapped in his own end zone and taken down for a safety, a sequence that encapsulated the night. Pressure, poor spacing, and plays that never developed. The offense converted just 2 of 11 on third downs, turned the ball over 3 times, and never found a rhythm. Even a late garbage time touchdown couldn't mask how thoroughly the Chargers controlled the game. Those box score lines aren't just stats, they're a symptom. An aging elite quarterback can't mask schematic and line deficiencies forever. Fox Sports Now, Pittsburgh faces real questions about roster support and short-term expectations. Rodgers is still a Hall of Famer in intellect and craft, but performances like this force the franchise to decide whether it has the offensive line, weapons, and scheme to let him succeed long-term, or whether they need to pivot sooner than they'd hoped. Pittsburgh Steelers. After the Chargers win, Mike Tomlin's first words weren't defensive. They were complimentary. And that in itself raised eyebrows. Tomlin publicly praised Los Angeles defensive coordinator Jesse Minter and credited the Chargers' scheme for stifling Pittsburgh's attack, a candid acknowledgement that his staff had been outcoached on the night. Saying we have to be better is one thing. Handing kudos to the opponent's coordinator in the immediate postgame also reads like a quiet concession that opponents' ideas are evolving faster than his own. Yahoo Thethau. Tomlin's tone captured 2 realities: respect for a well-coached unit and the uncomfortable admission that some coordinators are pushing tactical edges that today's veteran staffs must answer for quickly. The headline for Steelers fans isn't just the loss, it's the sense that schematic innovation around the league is accelerating, and teams that don't adapt risk being outpaced. ASUSA, the final play in Houston, delivered a tiny piece of NFL history, a 36-29 final that had never happened before. The Texans' last-second return and decision to decline the extra point created an official final score that Secret Base and score history trackers call a Scorigami, the 1,094th unique final score in league history. As the modern game leans on 2-point tries, analytics, and wild comebacks, novel final score combinations are becoming more common. This is the 3rd Scorigami of the season. Yahoo Thethau's Scorigami is more than trivia. It's a neat snapshot of how strategic choices, go for 2, decline pat, and late-game oddities create unique ending tallies. For producers and highlight reels, it's a tidy narrative hook, A wild comeback capped by a quirky box score footnote that will be in the season's Remember When packages. CBS Sports. If you want any of these pieces expanded into longer VO scripts or trimmed into 1 minute social reads, tell me which story to prioritize, and I'll deliver the content only script in American English.